Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please do subscribe it if you have not already done, because then you would come to know whenever I load a video, you'll get a notification for that. So in this part, we are going to continue with the Learn React Easy Way series, and we are going to discuss about CSS with React. Like if you want, because React components are nothing but HTML components. So if you want to apply your own CSS and even the CSS with certain if conditions, we are going to discuss within this. CSS is normally applied with the HTML components, and React is nothing but an HTML component. So we are going to learn how we are going to create and import CSS files in our components, and we'll also see how we can use the conditional applying of the CSS with if conditions within a React component. So stay tuned and see for yourself how we can practically do it. So the first thing what we are going to do in this is we need to create a CSS file, and this CSS file is a typical CSS file which you create with your HTML or any other one. So let's try creating a CSS file. So what we'll do is you can create within any folder or subfolder structure the way you want to structure that, but this is only for the demonstration purpose. So I'll say create a new file and I'll try to name it as myaddress.css. So within this, let's say just to keep the things simple, we'll have only two classes, or let's say one class. So the first one I'm going to create is, let's say, for the dev class, dev settings. Let's say this is the class, and I want to change, let's say, text align, which should be center, and the second thing is I want some color to be, let's say, blue violet, something like that. So wherever I'm going to apply this div setting class, it would by default change the text alignment to center, and also it would change the text color to blue violet. So that's what we are going to try it out. Now this is only one class. You can have multiple classes within this which can work on different components within the HTML. Now once the class is created, the next important thing is how we are going to use this class. So let's go into the myaddress component which we created within the last video. If you have gone through that, if you have not seen that video, please see the video which is part 4th of the React Learning series. Now this is another component which we have created, and in order to import the file, so we'll just use import and then we'll specify myaddress.css. Now that's the file which we need, and once the file is imported within the myaddress component, I can use this CSS file within the component structure. So let's say I want to use this CSS within this div, because we have a div tag where the address is being spanned out, and that's how we are doing it. Now what we can do is, just in order to use any class, so we'll refer a class name. So please specify class name, N with a capital, that definitely matters. And then you can specify the name of the class. So within the myaddress, we have div settings. So if I say div settings, copy that class name, go to myaddress and paste it over here. You don't have to use a dot over here. Just say class name, div settings. Let's try refresh it and see it for yourself within the React. So yes, my address is, and it has been changed to the blue violet color. So if you feel that we didn't saw when the class was not applied, so what we can do over here is we can just remove this and see by default it will be displayed in black. So yes, so my address which was there in the div tag is exactly by default without any class displayed in black. But let's say if we apply the class name and we'll say div settings, so you go back, check it out, immediately the color of the text is applied, that is a blue color. Okay, now one more thing, sometimes you need a class name which is more likely dependent upon certain condition. Now what happens is we want to apply one class if a condition is true, but we want to apply another class if the condition is false. So what we can do over here is, so let's say because the myaddress component it uses a props. So in the app.js, where we are using different props, I'm just passing one props, that is address. Let's say I'll pass another one, which I call it as an active, and I'll say 1. Now here active is nothing but a props, and it has a value of 1 attached to it. Now once it is attached, so what we can do is we can just go back to my address, and then within the class settings, so you have to write the expression based upon if the active value is 1, so you apply the class, let us div settings. If the active value is not 1, so you don't apply that class. That's what we are going to do. Now within this, what we are going to do over here is we are going to specify an expression with the text symbols, and we'll say dollar props, because I'm using props. So I'll say which was the property name, that is active. So if it is equal to 1, then what you want to do is you want to do, let's say, div settings. That was the name of the class. So if props and the props name active has a value of 1, so you set this div settings, otherwise you set nothing. So that's what you try to do in this. Now, so props.active, and then you specify this double class, and then, oops, I'm sorry, you need a question mark, and then you need because we're using a ternary operator, so I just swap those values. So that looks fine to me. So once again, props is receiving active as a prop. If it has a value of 1, you apply div settings as the class name. But if it does not have a value of 1, you don't apply any class name. So there won't be any class for that. So because props has an active value of 1, because we are passing 1 as that and we are receiving 1. So let's see within the browser. So it automatically applies this class, which makes sense because the color of the text would change to blue violet. But let's say if you go back, change the value of app.js and active is equal to 2. So now we are not setting the value 1, rather we are sending it 2. So now my address value where the props active is being received, it is not 1, it is 2. So now the 2 is there, so no class would be applied. So if you go back, so you see it has changed to black color. The class is not applied. So you can write these kind of expressions where class name can be changed based upon what you really want to do. You want to specify one particular class, or you want to specify a second particular class based upon whether any value is technically true or false. You can use a props by which the value is being percolated from the parent to the child component, or you can also create, let's say any variable over here, and then you can base your classes based upon that. So I hope guys this video is going to help you in your next level of understanding with CSS and how you can apply CSS with if conditions. So please stay safe, stay blessed, and wherever you are, I'll see you in the next video, and please do subscribe if you have not already done. Thank you.